problem.
Set the tone early.
That's right. That's what she's doing. It's a power move. It's not for me. Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Pension Board to order. This public meeting, I'm going to read the stuff that Timmy wants me to read, so we're okay. This public meeting of the Board of Pension Retirement is being conducted in person in the board's conference room in the board's offices on the 16th floor of Penn Center. Pursuant to section 211503 of the Philadelphia Code, electronic recording of this meeting will be made through Microsoft Teams conference technology and by an audio recording. An electronic recording will be available to the public online at the board's website without charge within 10 days. Please note that you consent to such recording by attending, participating, or speaking at such meeting. I also wanted to take the opportunity to welcome our newest member, Christy Brady. Thank you. We look forward to working with you.
Yes.
For coming. Yes. We also have two members who are on the phone, Vanessa Garrett-Hartley and Paul Reed. The first order of business is...
Vanessa and Paul, can you just speak so we can confirm that you can hear us?
Good morning, this is Vanessa Garrett-Hartley.
Paul?
This is Paul Reed.
Great, thank you.
Everybody hear that?
Yes.
Okay. The first order of business is a motion to adopt the rules of order that the board has approved and used for its virtual public meetings and October in-person board meetings. The purpose is to help ensure that accurate and complete audio or audiovisual recordings of the meeting occur to comply with the legal requirements with respect to the introduction and content of motions, and properly identifying those members who speak during any discussion or any motion or other item, and the votes of members during our roll call meeting. The motion to adopt new procedures for today's meeting has been made and seconded. Any discussion of the pending motion? Then I will call the roll. Christy?
Approve.
Brian? Vanessa?
I approve.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt? Approve. Paul?
I approve.
And Carol? Approve. And motion carries. Thank you very much. We're going to do this.
Investments.
Yeah, we're going to do the order a little different this time. We're going to go into investments first. We'll do benefits later. So with that, I'm going to call the the investment committee meeting into order. First item is the approval of minutes from the October 22nd investment committee meeting. Any discussion? I'll call the roll. Christy?
Abstain, I was not at the meeting.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt? Approve. Paul?
I approve.
And Carol?
Approve.
Thank you. The motion carries. And that will take us to the October-November 22 investment performance review.
Good morning, everyone. Start with a little overall commentary on the market, and for the purpose of the meeting, since we have both October and November numbers, I'll concentrate on the November numbers since they're the most recent, but obviously if you have questions about the prior numbers, don't hesitate to ask myself or the folks from Marquette. Starting with the market commentary, there is obviously a lot of volatility and a lot of issues impacting the market at the moment. You saw yesterday that the Fed increased interest rates by 50 basis points. There had been some speculation on Monday or Tuesday when the inflation numbers came in that perhaps they would only go 25. I don't think Marquette or staff shared that assessment. In addition to the 50 basis point increase yesterday, the language, the press conference from the Fed chair, as well as some of the minutes from their past meeting, still suggested a really hawkish tone going forward in terms of future increases.
Yeah, it seems because they've been really consistent, and yet the market keeps being surprised.
Yeah, and I talked to a couple folks on staff, and a couple others, and again, we get things wrong like anyone else, but I didn't understand kind of the initial euphoria on Tuesday. I mean, over 7% inflation is still pretty high. I
Yeah.
understand it's not 9% or 10, but it's still pretty high. And you kind of saw that by the end of the day. I think the market had been 600 or 700 points up. By the end of the day, it was close to red, barely got back to green. It's down, last I looked, fairly significantly this morning. So they seem to be determined not to repeat the mistakes that led to the 1980s, the late 70s, and then the Volcker era. And the Fed chair seems determined, even if it causes a significant rise in unemployment or economic contraction, that they're not going to let inflation spike. There's still issues, obviously, beyond that. China and how they're going to handle their zero COVID policy. It seems to be back and forth. It looks like they're going to loosen it, then they don't. That's obviously impacting not just their economy, but the entire globe. It doesn't necessarily get as much news lately or press, but the Ukraine conflict and war is still, I think, a major overhang, along with the potential energy crisis in Europe this winter. And then looking a little bit farther out, you're starting to see a little bit more news about this. I think the debt ceiling over the next several months has the potential to really put the market further on edge if it's used as a weapon or a bargaining chip between the two parties. So with that, I don't know, guys, if you wanted to add anything else to the market news or anything else that you think is relevant when we look at the numbers.
Nothing from Landon. Dave?
Chris covered it.
Good job, Chris.
You should have gotten the estimates late last night through Tuesday. Month to date, essentially even with the benchmark up about 36 basis points. Fiscal year to date, about 50 basis points ahead of the benchmark at 4.72. And on a calendar year to date basis, about 60 basis points ahead, but down on an absolute basis about 8%. One thing I had forgotten to note too, and I sent this around with some folks yesterday, and I think this, I'll just conclude the kind of the overall commentary with this, but I think it summarizes kind of what the market is doing right now. It's actually a 1981 cartoon or comic that was in the New Yorker, somebody watching the market news, and it says, on Wall Street today, news of lower interest rates sent the stock market up, but then the expectation that those rates would be inflationary sent the market down, until the realization that the lower rates might stimulate the sluggish economy pushed the market back up, before it ultimately went down on fears that an overheated economy would lead to reimposition of higher interest rates. And I think it's the same thing back in 1981 that is going on now. For the month of November, slight underperformance. That's almost exclusively attributable to one piece of the international index that's part of our policy benchmark, doing really, really well. If you look at how we did on a cash adjusted basis, the returns look more like 4.8 versus 4.9. We are holding about $255 million in cash as of this morning. All of the managers in terms of by asset class, whether it's fixed income, opportunistic, etc., matched or outperformed their benchmark with the exception of a slight underperformance in U.S. equities. You'll note on page 20 of the larger report, Strategic Global Advisors, who was terminated last month, still appears. The money was, that account was liquidated. We have closed the account. That went in a little bit to early November, so that's why you're still seeing some returns there. You shouldn't see that next month. The two global low volatility managers were finally funded following completion of the legal negotiations of the contracts. That's also on page 20. Returns not available for this month because they didn't have a full month, so you'll start seeing those appear on the December flash.
Give me a sense of how they're doing. Sorry.
I was just saying, could you name them?
Sure. Fidelity, Global, and MFS. Do we have
So
any preliminary numbers from them?
we don't presently, but on page 2 of the November report, you'll actually see that the amount we allocated to each manager, 75 million, is up. We're up versus what we allocated. So Global Evolve is actually holding up really well in this market environment, and for all of the factors Chris mentioned, we can't predict the market, but 2023 should also be hopefully a good year for this segment of the market. Lower vol stocks are higher quality, better cash flows, better balance sheets, and the market seems to be rewarding those types of stocks more than the high momentum growth types of stocks.
Wait, could
How far up was it? Sorry, I'm just not on the page yet. You're saying it's up a little.
yeah, so at page 2 of that report, Rob, so MFS, started with 75 million in, early to mid-November. They're now at about 79.5 million, and Fidelity is now about 77.6 million. So they've both, over a pretty short period of time, made between $2.5 and $4.5 million dollars.
Thank you.
We should have updated numbers from UBS and Clarion either in January, February. You know that they report quarterly the open-ended for real estate managers. And those were the only managers we were planning to highlight, but of course happy to take general questions or manager-specific questions if there are any.
Any questions? Okay, great, thank you. I think that takes us to staff reports.
Sure. Securities lending for the month, $116,021. 1.292 million since the inception, or year to date, excuse me, and 51.68 million since the inception of the program. I'm still working with staff on diversity AUM. We're making sure that the private equity numbers, that none of the Q1 and Q2 numbers are getting interspliced. Want to get it right, not quick, so I will have that to you as soon as possible. There's been no significant change in the level of diversity AUM. We obviously, with the exception of SGA, we haven't lost any diverse managers. We haven't seen any of them lose significant capital. Just making sure that we're consistently using Q1 or Q2 data across the right time points. So I will get that to you as soon as possible. And I thank Abdel for, in particular, for his work in helping scrub that data. And then to conclude the upcoming board meetings, we are scheduled for January 26th of next year, February 23rd, and March 23rd. The February and March meetings being the annual actuarial presentations when they're going to be held.
Any questions on any of that? It's been moved and properly seconded that we adjourn the investment committee meeting. We will call the roll. Christie. Ryan. Vanessa.
Approved.
Thank you. Marcia.
Approve.
Carolyn.
Approve.
Roosevelt. Approved. Paul.
Approved.
And Carol.
Approve.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Okay, I'm gonna call the FERCom meeting to order. The first item is approval of the minutes of the October 27th meeting. I will call the roll. Christie.
Abstain, I was not there.
Thank you. Brian. Vanessa.
Approved.
Marcia.
Approve.
Carolyn.
Approve.
Roosevelt. Approved. Paul.
Approved.
And Carol.
Approve.
Motion carries. Thank you all very much, and then we'll go into the update.
Just 2 quick announcements before I turn it over to Brad and Vina. We should have an investment update in terms of mutual fund performance at the January meeting. And then also, as you know, the RFP for a TPA was posted and closed. Staff is meeting with the 2 respondents and are working towards a report for consideration by the board either at the January or February meeting. We extending the current contract by a couple of months just to take us through that transition period. With that, I'll turn it over to Bina and Brett.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see everyone. We're going to cover the November reports. However, if you have any questions for the October report, please let us know. I'd be happy to answer any questions. But as of November 30th, deferred compensation plan assets ended at $1,656,696,237.77. That is 3% more than the month of October. Before I highlight all the other metrics regarding participant counts, etc., I just wanted to let the board know that the Philadelphia Parking Authority joined the City of Philadelphia Deferred Compensation Plan, and that transition was effective November 16th. So you're going to see elevated numbers in all the metrics that I'm going to share with you, starting with the total plan participant count. It ended at 24,908. That's 400 more due to the PPA transition. Actively deferring is 19,354. That's an increase of 188. And new enrollments, 533 new enrollments. That's because we set up about 437 accounts for PPA participants. In addition,
So even excluding PPA, the number of participants still went up, right? That's by
yeah,
about 100.
so in November, PPA was 437 new enrollments, and the city was 96 for the month of November. Inactive participants, 5,554, that's 212. So in addition to active accounts for PPA, we also saw inactive accounts that were set up. So just wanted to let you know that.
How many inactive PPA accounts?
I think it's around 200 from PPA.
Okay, thanks.
200, thank you. So in addition to all the work that went on, Brad, and I know he'll cover this, but in October, prior to the transition, Brad and the team did 20 different webinars to make sure that PPA participants were educated regarding the changes. And I just want to thank staff as well as Jim for your partnership and your leadership in helping us with the transition. The 401A plan assets on November 30th ending balance was $2,306,390.56. That's 5% increase over the month of October, and total participant count is 948. That's 5 less than October. The Solution Center handled 3,097 phone calls. That's 31 more than October. And we also saw an uptick in participants setting up their online accounts. This is where they can leverage the tools and all the resources that are available. And the total account participants with account balance is 18,319. That's about 74% of participants that have an account balance have set up an online account. Now the percentage option, PPA doesn't offer a percentage option. Most of the contributions came as dollar. So this is going to be a great opportunity for those that would like to do a percentage option. But as of November, there were 1,359 participants utilizing percentage, so an increase of 64. Regarding the Roth, this is the after-tax contributions. We did see an uptick here, 5,002, an increase of 251 more since the month of October. That is because of PPA participants coming in. There was about 145 from PPA regarding the Roth contributions. The ending balance was 30.4 million. Any questions for me?
I have a question.
Sure.
Have we considered the fact, should we separate out PPA reporting from the City of Philadelphia reporting so that we can see, or do we not think that's important?
We don't do that with PHDC, so I'm not sure why we do it with PPA. They're members of our pension system. I don't see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to
I'm
get, I
just-
guess you just want to get a clear picture.
Yes, that's the reason why I'm asking the
But,
question.
well, what about if
It's
we
up to,
put,
it's up to Pina, if she wants to separate, she can separate.
what about we just put the quasi-agency in a report and keep the city of Philadelphia in a report, that way we have a clear track. I mean, just a question. She can think about it, it's nothing. This what we know actually who in the city of Philadelphia that we need to keep reaching out to, because,
Well, we have a duty to everybody equal.
yeah, yes, sir, and we understand,
Yeah,
I do
no one's
understand
suggesting
that,
that.
I do understand that, but we also have a duty to everybody equally to know what's going on with, that how we are impacting the fund as a whole, as well as the, quasi, separate from the quasi-agency, I think. It's just a question, there's nothing,
Yeah.
if they can do it, fine, if not,
How,
don't
how
worry.
hard would it be to track?
Yeah, like,
We currently track new enrollments for
Right.
PHDC, so if you'd like to see the difference, we certainly can put that in the report, where new enrollments are coming in, but they've joined the City of Philadelphia plan, so I certainly can always report out on a monthly basis the new enrollments that are coming in from each of these agencies, like PHDC as well as PPA. Would that be helpful?
that'd be
Yes.
helpful.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
The other further comment?
If not, I'll pass it on to Brad.
Thanks, Peter. Good morning. Just to highlight some of the local office activity, as Bina said, I'm going to focus on November, but real quick in October, I just want to mention and give credit to the local staff who conducted 38 group events and workshops with 683 attendees. A lot of it due to the PPA transition. We did have 22 meetings with the PPA with 345 attendees for the PPA. So that was, that's about a third of their workforce that attended those webinars, which for a transition is quite frankly spectacular. So it's a great credit to not only pension staff but also PPA staff for getting the word out there. Their HR staff did a great job. So in the month of November, the local office staff conducted 91 individual one-on-one consultations with 38 enrollments done with them, 22 seminars for total attendees of 253. You will see an increase as Christina and Sean kind of get up to speed and get trained on everything that we're doing, and they're doing a great job, getting out there to different departments and seeing different folks as the number of workshops is going up. 12 of those workshops were new employee orientations. 10 one-on-one consultations were conducted using the My Interactive Retirement Planner.
Any questions for Brad?
It's not a question, it's a comment. I just want to say that knowing some of the people at PTA, they are thankful that Nationwide came in. They were getting ready to do another third-party administrator. So someone had already started applying with that third-party administrator, but they are happy now that Nationwide has came in and they became part of the system. So
That's great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Can you discuss real quick, we talked about the Secure Act 2.0, it's gonna have a big impact
Big impact.
on the members.
Mhm.
I think we should understand it here. You wanna go with it, or you go with it?
Yeah, so the Secure Act 2.0 is it's a legislation that's right now pending in Congress. Nothing has been passed yet, but it is something that the thought is that it will be passed by the end of this year. It includes a lot of provisions in it. Some of the more popular or more provisions that have the greatest effect, is that it would raise the RMD age from 72 to 75. It would allow some greater contributions for some types of plans. They have to pay for that, raising the RMD from 72 to 75, because if people aren't taking money out between 72 and 75, that's tax revenue the federal government's losing, so they have to pay for that. Well, the way that they've decided to pay for it is, as you all know, there's two types of catch-up in the 457 deferred comp plan. There's the over 50 and there's what's called the special or the pre-retirement catch-up. Well, the one provision in this act mandates that all catch-up contributions must be done on a Roth basis. Meaning that participants can contribute pre-tax up to the annual limit, which for next year would be 22.5, but anything over that would have to be done on a Roth basis. Again, I just want to make sure that I emphasize that this is pending legislation. Nothing's been passed. We don't, as we know, Washington does everything, everything we expect them to do right away. So we don't know for sure, but it is pending legislation. I'll also turn it over to Vito.
Do you know who sponsored it, where it came from?
I don't know who sponsored it.
I know it's supposed to have a part in it, and I might have the information who's sponsored. I'll try to get it to all the board members, because they did talk about it at the public safety as well. So they have a lot of information about the Secure Act.
It's just gonna, at the end of your career, especially when you're doing catch-up, that's gonna cost people thousands of dollars.
Yes.
My people transition away, I love Roth, but they transition away from that during catch-up because they're trying to drive their taxable income down.
Right.
And this is it's gonna cost them thousands,
Mhm.
and that's a big deal. I don't like it, but that's the opinion. So.
I was just in Columbus a few days ago, and our legal team and government relations are all waiting on the outcome of the Secure Act. And so we are prepared and ready to send out the appropriate communications. Everybody is on standby. So your employees that are in the Roth and those that may be impacted by the provisions, the updated provisions, we will make sure to educate them and send out the information, update the documents. So we're all on standby.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What does your legal team think about the possibilities of this going its full course? Well, what are their thoughts about it? Because I'm sure you must have lobbyists in
Yes.
DC.
Yeah, we do, and they feel strong about it, so they're hoping that by, before the end of December, that we will know for sure.
Do you have a sense of whether anybody is lobbying against it? Or
Yeah.
I have not heard that,
Okay.
so, but
All right.
I can find out for you.
Yeah, I think they pushing.
They've been pushing it.
They're pushing forward on it, and
Any other questions? Any new business, any old business? It's been moved and properly seconded that we adjourn for Tom. You're adjourned. I'm going to turn you over to
Thank
a
you
more
so
capable
much.
hand
Thank you.
for the benefit meeting.
leave it around. I was going to do my report. I want you to hear, that's all. I'll talk to you personally.
All right. we'll move
Happy
into
holiday drive.
Thank you.
We move into the marathon, not the sprint portion of the meeting. So, first item under benefits is approval of our minutes from our October meeting. A motion to approve those minutes was made and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll call. Christie? Abstain. Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Marcia? Approved. Sherilyn? Approved. Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul? Paul, do we have you on the minutes?
Did you move?
And we'll come back. Carol?
Approve.
Okay. And do we have Paul on the minutes for benefits? Okay. We'll note that he dropped off and hopefully he'll be here in person. The motion carries 6-0 with 1 abstention. Item 3,
You said he got cut off. Well, how close?
okay, let me, Vanessa, I'm gonna merge Paul back in, just give me 1 moment.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, she may call you back in.
that. We'll move to item 3 in benefits, a motion to approve 219 pension applications and 181 withdrawal applications was made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian? Brian, on item 3 to approve the applications and withdrawal applications.
I approve.
Thank you. Vanessa?
Approve.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approved.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul? It's like we've lost him again. Can you get him on here? Carolyn?
What happened with the phone?
Okay, just say, you're on my phone now, so, go ahead.
Paul, on item 3, do we have your vote?
Everybody approve it. Can you, the minutes, consideration of application,
The applications and withdrawal applications. Thank you. And Carol?
approve.
Motion carries unanimously. Section 4, 4A, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Kermit Anderson was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Deny.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol?
Approve.
Motion carries 5-3. 4B, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Ricky Anderson was made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Deny.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol?
Approve.
The motion carries 5-3. 4C, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Stephen Baub was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Deny.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol?
Approve.
The motion carries 5-3. 4D, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Peter Delacqua was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol?
Approve.
The motion carries 7-1. 4E, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for William Hogg was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approved.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol?
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. 4F, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Nicholas Colville was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approved.
Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol?
Approve.
The motion carries unanimously. 4G, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Michael Brinson was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Deny.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol?
Approve.
The motion carries 5-3. 4H, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Michael Gay was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
I'm sorry, this is 4H.
4H, yes.
Approve.
Thank you. Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approved.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
Carol?
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. 4I, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Lewis Cover was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul?
Approved.
And Carol.
Approved.
Motion carries 7-1. 4J, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Joseph Colodi was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Deny.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul?
Approved.
And Carol.
Approved.
Motion carries 5-3. 4K, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Alex McAdams was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approved.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
Approved.
And Carol.
Approved.
Motion carries unanimously. 4L, motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Brandon McCoyle was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approved.
Motion carries 7-1. 4M, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Matthew Quinn was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Marcia?
Deny.
Sherilyn?
Approved.
Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approved.
The motion carries 7-1. 4N, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Felix Reyes was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Go to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approved.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approved.
Motion carries unanimously. 4O, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Angel Rivera was made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approved.
Motion carries 7-1. 4P, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Joan Rodzinski was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item?
Can this go to a hearing panel? Or is that when I vote?
The board could request an alternate motion to send the case to hearing panel if there's a concern that there might
I feel like we
need more information.
I'll make a motion to send it to the hearing panel.
So there's an alternative motion to send 4P to a hearing panel that was made and properly seconded. Any discussion on the revised motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
I'm sorry, it was a little hard for me to hear. Are we voting on a revised motion or?
Correct. To send the case 4P to a hearing panel.
I'll approve the senator here.
Okay, thank you. Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approved.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approved.
Okay, the revised motion carries unanimously. 4Q, the motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for David Van Sciver was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Okay, Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. 4R, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Carl Zellner was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. 4S, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Lisa Parks was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Deny.
Brian?
I'll abstain.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Deny.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Abstain.
Paul?
I abstain.
And Carol.
Abstain.
The motion fails 0 to 4 with 4 noted abstentions. 4T, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for James Haynes was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approve.
Motion carries 7 to 1. 4U, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Denise Bernard was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. 4V, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Charles Battle was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Deny.
Brian?
I'll abstain.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Deny.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Abstain.
Paul?
I abstain.
And Carol.
Abstain.
The motion fails 0 to 4 with 4 noted abstentions. 4W, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Gino Forcino was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. 4X, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Jeriel Lucas was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Deny.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approve.
Motion carries 5 to 3. 4Y, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Thomas Oelman was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Christie?
Deny.
Brian?
Abstain.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Deny.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Abstain.
Paul?
I abstain.
And Carol.
Abstain.
Motion fails 0 to 4 with 4 abstentions. 4Z, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Mitchell Yannick was made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. Section 5, 5A, a motion to approve Patricia Sandiford's application to purchase pension credit for a prior governmental service has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Denied.
Brian,
Aye.
Vanessa,
Deny.
Marcia,
Denied.
Sherilyn,
Deny.
Roosevelt,
Deny.
Paul. On five.
Abstain.
Okay. And Carol.
Denied.
The motion fails 0 to 7 with 1 abstention. Section 6A, a motion to approve Theodore Wilkes' application to change survivorship options has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Christie?
Denied.
Brian?
Denied.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Denied.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Deny.
Paul?
Deny.
And Carol.
Denied.
Motion fails 0 to 8. Section 7A, a motion to approve the request of Crystal Walker to apply for service-connected disability beyond the 1-year deadline has been made and properly seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Denied.
Brian?
Denied.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Denied.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Deny.
Paul?
I deny.
And Carol.
Denied.
The motion fails 0 to 8. 7B, a motion to approve the request of Wayne Brunson to apply for service-connected disability beyond the 1-year deadline was made and properly seconded. Any discussion on this item?
I would like more information. I would make a motion to a hearing panel.
There's an alternative request to send case 7B to a hearing panel for more information, properly seconded. A revised motion to send 7B to a hearing panel was made and properly seconded. Is there any discussion on the revised motion? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approved.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approved.
Motion carries unanimously. 7C, a motion to approve the request for Latrice Burrell to apply for service-connected disability beyond the 1-year deadline was made and properly seconded. Any discussion on 7C? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll. Christie?
Deny.
Brian?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Denied.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approved.
Okay. There was a tie for yes, for approvals and for denies, and so as the chair, I'll vote to break the tie and vote to deny. So 7C fails 4 to 5. 7D, a motion to approve the request regarding Maury Singleton to apply for service-connected disability beyond the 1-year deadline was made and properly seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll. Christie?
Denied.
Brian?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Marcia?
Denied.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol.
Approved.
There's a tie 4 to 4, and as the chair, I will vote to break the tie, and I will vote to deny. So 7D fails 4 to 5. 7E, the motion to approve the application for survivorship benefit, oh, I'm sorry. A motion to approve the application for Eric Skelton to apply for service-connected disability beyond the 1-year deadline was made and properly seconded. Any discussion on this item?
I would like to make a motion for a hearing panel.
There's a request to send case 7E to a hearing panel. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly seconded. A revised motion to send case 7E to a hearing panel has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the revised motion? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Marcia?
Approved.
Sherilyn?
Approved.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul? Motion carries unanimously. That brings us to new business and the executive director's report.
Well, first off, thank you all for sitting through the large number of benefit meetings. You know, we didn't have the November meetings, so it's double the amount of cases, plus a handful of others. So, with the additional staff cases we're moving through, pushing the doctors to get the cases through. Risky's been working with us to get the cases through, so, you know, I know it's tough to read through this many cases, but it's gonna happen. You'll see a couple of things, one in your binder, one is on the table. There's a NC PERS legislative conference is coming up towards the end of January. And the last diverse manager forum centering on leadership is in January 19th. So these are two conferences. I know the legislative conference, we've had folks participate in the past, and I believe that Chris might be presenting at this other conference.
The one in Philadelphia?
Yes, yeah.
I was actually
And by the way, this isn't Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And Chris has spoken at this conference for a couple of years, so I don't know if anyone has a motion, if anyone would like to attend those conferences, but that's what I have for that.
Is there a motion regarding conference approval for the board?
I'll make a motion that any trustee that, would like to go to the conference, be approved to go.
For both conferences?
Both conferences.
Thanks, Carol.
I'll
Motion regarding approval for both conferences that Fran mentioned was made and properly seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Christie? Approve. Brian? Vanessa?
Approve.
Marcia?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
Approve.
And Carol.
approve.
Carries unanimously.
So can I say something on this, Fran?
Sure,
Okay.
of course.
First of all, I want to give our condolences to you and your family. So, they're gonna have their annual conference in Philadelphia as well in July, NASP. So I highly recommend, and since we can just register, we're all members of the organization, right, Fran, all the board members. So I highly recommend at least spending a day or maybe one session to learn, what they do and to see what goes on. And there's a lot of investment managers there, but there's also a lot of other trustees there that's talking. And I would just like, since it's gonna be in our hometown, to give it some support. Okay, that's all.
And Carol, thanks for that. And Christie, this is the National Association of Securities Professionals, and they are an organization that fosters inclusion and increase in diversity in investment professional world. So it's been a very good organization for the board and for young people looking to get involved in the investment world. And Carol's been very active there. Carol's also on the board of the NC PERS, which I mentioned previously in the board materials. The actuary RFP was out there. We did receive the responses. We have plenty of time. The current contract doesn't end until June, but we did get 6 responses. So, of course, the incumbent, Chiron, responded along with AON, Buck, Foster and Foster, Siegel, and Bolton. So we are working. In fact, Eileen Zaletta, Eileen is here. Eileen, could you either raise your hand or stand up? Eileen is our new audit manager. She's been here for, I don't know, about a month now. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm losing track of time. Right? So anyway, Eileen is going through all the responses along with the team, and we will have something ready to call the subcommittee to order to review those. So we did get a good, robust response. On the other hand, we did not get a robust response for the medical panel RFP, despite the great work by both Elizabeth and Bill in contacting 3 pages worth of medical providers. I think what we're seeing now is sole providers or small practices are being put into larger practice groups, and it's more difficult to find individual practitioners who want to do it. Dr. Weinman, by the way, is turning 70, so he's going to start cutting back his practice. He told us twice he wasn't going to respond. Bill reached out to him and convinced him otherwise, but ultimately he decided he was going to cut back and did not respond. Joris did respond. We have, by the way, plenty of time for that too. Contract doesn't end until June 30th. It's possible we'll try to put out another RFP, see if we get more responses. But on the positive note, Dr. Weineman is moving a lot of cases because he still has 6 more months roughly on the contract, and Joris is an umbrella service provider nationwide, so we won't get, and we still have the specialists aside from the RFP, so we won't get caught short for any people applying, but I think if we want to put out the RFP again, we can do that maybe in a month or so from now, just to see if we get more providers. And again, Bill and Elizabeth will reach out to medical providers just to see if we get more responses. And then at that point, I think we can, come back to the medical panel subcommittee and go from there. Does that sound like a good
Sounds
plan?
good.
Okay. I've already introduced Eileen. I don't know, has the board met Tabitha Scott yet, our new legal assistant? Tabitha's here.
Oh.
So Tabitha's been doing a very good job. Part of the reason, along with Denise is here. Denise is working with Elizabeth now, so where we had Teresa and Lori, now have Elizabeth and Denise. So that's part of the group, along with Bill, that are really getting the disability cases moving. So I appreciate all of your work on that, and of course the board appreciates it, but moreover the members appreciate it. So,
Thank you.
and I think that's all I have today.
Thanks, Fran. Is there any other new business?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. There is new business. Carol, not new business, but Carol. Carol attended the
report I tried to get right, y'all.
sponsored by the U.S. Department of Commerce and the administration, along with the African Business Group, to foster better business relations between the United States and Africa. But Carol attended this conference. It was a great privilege for her to be invited and to go, especially on behalf of the board. So, Carol, maybe want to tell us a little bit about it.
Before I forget, I'm not going to be here in the January meeting, so if y'all could consider and I will call in, but I'm going to be out the country, so it's going to be hard to call in, so y'all could consider that. But anyway, I was given the honor to be invited to,
Do you have fly?
no,
it's he went around on
is he on my phone?
it. No.
It was called Prosper USAID Government Leadership for Africa. So it started under the Obama administration, and so Biden picked it up. So every year they do a summit of all the African countries. We bring them over there, they talk about partnering and investing in Africa. And you have other companies like Visa, Google, Verizon. The banks are African banks that invest in, but they're doing a lot of infrastructure, building cities. They're helping women, African women, become entrepreneurs. And it was just amazing to see they are putting, so Biden, I think, committed to, I don't want to get it wrong, but over $1 billion to invest in Africa. So one of the things I did learn is that if we want to do it, you don't have to do it on your own. We can partner with the United States government. The Secretary of Commerce, I met him, we met in a meeting with him, and they talked about doing an investment with them. Is another organization called Prosper Africa. They really help pension boards or investment people to understand how to invest in Africa and what vehicles to use to invest in there. Visa gave 9 nations in Africa, 9 countries in Africa, $1 billion over a 5-year period to help with the infrastructure, to help with healthcare, to build new hospitals and stuff, to help increase jobs, to give people training, to help in entrepreneurship. It was just, and yesterday, Biden came on and gave, met with, all the delegations, all the presidents, all the different countries in Africa. I was just lost in the sauce. I was just sitting there like, I went in one room and sat because it was just like so much and so many people from Africa that I was just like it was just like, I was just sitting there like this the whole time, it was just like, they trained this one lady how to develop a beauty care industry. So she makes shea butter, and they show you how she does it and how people do it, and they mix it with their hands and their arms all the way down in there. It was just, and they honored her yesterday, and then they also gave her a check for more businesses. So, and that's what it was really about. I mean, I didn't really, like, when I asked to go there, I thought it was, I didn't know what I was getting into, but then, so it was, what I did find out was City of Philadelphia, and I just want to let y'all know everybody's pleased with our investment with DPI, because every time I mention DPI, oh yeah, we know that they do great work. I'm like, okay, good. That's what I want to keep hearing. And so with the 3 boards, I think, that already have investment in Africa, which was us, Illinois, and the city and county of San Francisco. Did you say that? Oh yeah, the city and county of San Francisco. And I just want to say that it was all women, us 3 women, no men, women. So, and women of color. So that was another good point. But anyway, but it was just I was just pleased to sit there and represent Philadelphia. People was happy to see, that we were there and we were so close. But it was a great lesson learned, and they offered to come and meet with our staff and educate them and help them to foster partnership if we choose to continue to invest in Africa. So that was what it was. And thank y'all all for, you guys didn't know, but Fran and Jimmy, and was working behind the scenes with Rob to make sure I could go diligently and fiduciarily, and I really appreciate that, so thank you so much. So let me tell you the credential. You had to get credential for everything. You couldn't move, then yesterday morning I had to get a COVID test. I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. 5:30 in the morning, so if I'm tired, I'm really tired, but it was, you couldn't go in without being credentialed. Everything was just really locked down, and then when Biden came, I'm like, we're gonna miss our plane, I'm gonna miss my flight, so, but it was really good. So Rob wanted me to take a picture with Biden. I couldn't get the picture with Biden, but let me just tell you, I was this close to that man I ain't never been that close to. It was like, oh my God. And then the mayor of New York was there, and they're doing wonderful things, and he's from Africa descent. Alba, the actress, he was there, and he spoke. Yeah, Idris, yes, Idris, that's what they get. And that's why I did post it to I'm spending my birthday with Idris. Yes, yes.
Did you get a photo?
My birthday was Monday.
Did you get a photo with him?
Huh?
Did you get a photo with?
No, they was rushing people in and out so fast. I'm like, I'm telling you, this is one time, Carol, y'all would, I was like, it was just so much, like, it was really a lot, so, but, and that's what, it was very nice, and thank you again. They will be a part of the NAS National in July. I don't know if they're coming in January, but I know that, because NAS is a part of this African USAID, along with, like I said, Obama started it, so NAS has been very, very involved in it the whole time. So if you want to hear everything about that, we can hear them. I know they're going to have a day just for that, and we can learn some stuff. And I do encourage you, it's very, rich. It was very good. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Yeah, and thank you for going on.
Yes.
It's very, very nice. And this is just one last reminder, mostly for the elected trustees. As the board will say, Carol's the vice chair, so if the board wants to continue with that for an additional year, it goes year by year, that's at the January meeting. So you talk among yourselves, and if whatever you want to do, just come back to the January meeting and let us know. And that's when you would take a vote, or vote to not take a vote, whatever.
Okay, thank you, Fran. Any other new business before? That brings us to the litigation summary.
There's really nothing to report other than we have a couple cases on
Thank you, Alan.
Can I ask a question on Gore? Any word on what we're gonna,
Actually, yesterday morning, I asked for materials, and the person that I asked for was in a training, so it will get done.
by next month, maybe? By
No, I
next
mean, I think it could get done this week.
Perfect, thank you.
Oh, well, probably. Tomorrow is Friday, so, anyway, yes. Because we did the meeting a little out of order, I wanted to make sure that we adopt the actions of the investment committee, and so I'd like to ask for a motion. Thank you. Is that seconded? Motion has been made and seconded to adopt the actions of the investment committee. Hearing no discussion, we'll move to the roll. Christie? Approved. Brian? Vanessa?
Approved.
Marcia? Approved. Sherilyn? Approved. Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
And Carol?
Approved.
Motion carries unanimously. Motion has been made and properly seconded to adjourn the full board. Hearing no, Chris, I was on a roll.
No, sorry. Carol had mentioned wanting to discuss changing the meeting in January, and I didn't know if folks wanted to do that. Because we don't obviously meet again, this month, and if folks want to keep it, that's fine, but I just wanted to make sure we knew when the meeting was going to be in January.
When are you out of town, Carol, or when are you here? It's more important than when you're out.
The week of the 23rd, I'm out of the country. So I'm back, I'm either the 16th or the week of the 16th or 16th is out. So we can go to the 30th if you want to. The 30th?
I'm sorry, which date were you thinking about?
The week of the 30th, you're saying?
Yeah.
The following week, which would be Monday the 30th or after?
Right.
So the week of the 16th is Martin Luther King. That'd be a short week for staff.
And
Isn't it tough to pull materials together that we can't, it makes sense to have a meeting without that?
It would be tight, could get done, but it would be very tight, and you probably
Like the
wouldn't have
30th?
the 17th, you probably wouldn't have the materials well before the meeting.
It's only 2 more days, but really, I mean, it would have been the 26th or the 30th.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the private, the following week is fine.
I'm good with it, if everyone.
you're looking at Monday or Tuesday? The week
Monday, yeah, that week, Monday or
30th.
Tuesday is fine.
30th or 31st?
I'll make it work, I'm good those days.
Does anyone have a preference on which day? Chris, what about for your,
That's plenty, the prior week would have been a little tricky with either of those days.
Why don't we just do Tuesday in case something last minute pops up, at least we'll have the prior work day.
Yeah, perfect, okay.
so we'll move the January meeting to the 31st, and Chris, if you could just send something around after the meeting so everyone has it. I need to adopt that.
Any
objection?
I'm sorry, Carol, go ahead.
Did the pictures check out this week?
14th.
Okay. Oh, I didn't see
Check your
it.
direct deposit.
How are you? I kept looking over here, and I didn't see it now.
Check your direct deposit, any problems, 1-800-BILLY.
That's a good number.
Right there.
Okay.
No, I was getting emailed, that's something I got,
Okay, so hearing no objections, we'll move the January meeting to Tuesday the 31st, and we'll send around updated calendar invites after this. Motion was made and properly seconded to adjourn the full board meeting. Hearing no objections, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays. Happy
Thanks, Vanessa. See you.
Thank you.